Furthermore, any memory I might have had regarding the incident seems to have simply disappeared in the process. I've got it, Nick! It's just how it happens with Kira. She got absolutely no memory of her life in Labyrinth before the trial, right? I do not remember this Kira you speak of. I know, yeah, when you really think about it, doesn't it seem super weird how the Shades are able to return to town if they complete their tasks? The townsfolk are bound to remember some things about them, right? Like how Miss Kira here threw a major hissy fit in court and was barbecued for being a witch. Eloquently put. She was barbecued. Eloquently put, yes. Hence, we cannot yet conclude that this entire illusion was primarily accomplished through the use of machinery. Simply put, there must have been some way of affecting the memories of all those confined within the confines of this town. That's not what it said, but that's what I choose to read. Missing time and lost memories. Now that is interesting, Inquisitor. You're correct. There is in fact a secret that lies within the depths of the Eldritch Woods. Something that people in this town cannot see. Something that can rob the people of their time and memories. Tis the very thing that connects all of what I've seen here tonight. Tis the secret of monumental proportions. Tis the Bell of Ruin. Tis a secret that cannot be revealed by the mystery of the Eldritch Wood. It's the Bell of Ruin. It's the Bell of Ruin. Okay, this is a long section, but you know, at least we're actually getting answers now. Even if those answers are absolutely stupid. Which is those wondrous stray within the Eldritch Woods. Until tonight, I thought this nothing but a mere fairy tale told to children. But it's become clear that a seemingly large organisation lives within that forest. The Witch's Court is the border between this world and the other world. So in this world, you're Labyrinthia's High Inquisitor, while also being Mistress to the Shades in the other world. Otherwise known as the Great Witch. May I intervene for just a moment, Mr. Wright? Okay. In all honesty, there is still something that sticks out as odd. Particularly Mr. Darklaw's previous testimony. Did you say the previous testimony? Okay. Are we going back to the previous testimony, really? There's one vital truth that we managed to take away from that testimony. You mean that magic does not truly exist in Labyrinthia? Indeed, quite the shocking truth. However, there is one more truth hidden within that same testimony. Whatever you say, Layton. I didn't find a single... Okay. I must have checked the court record more times than I can count. I must have used these hint coins more times than I can count. Have you forgotten already, Mr. Wright? When there's no evidence left, we have but one more weapon at our disposal with which to uncover the truth. Asking questions endlessly. Hey, I've got it, Nick. Remember, in a witch trial you can cross-examine two witnesses at the same time? Sure. Oh, right. Look at two testimonies side by side. Obviously, yes. And that contradiction provides with a much-needed clue. I'm not entirely sure where anybody's going with this, but go on. I think this is like the second time in the entire game we've actually used this mechanic. I believe it is judgment. Besides, if we're going to blow this case wide open, it's got to be worth a shot. We will now take a closer look at Lady Darklaw's previous testimony. There is a glaring contradiction between this piece of testimony and the others. Shades live outside the realm of those who dwell within Labyrinthia. To them, I am the Great Witch. Okay, I mentioned this. I did mention this. Lady Darklaw was our venerable mistress. She assigned us our task. She was the Great Witch. I think that's still the key here. I've got 2 lives. No guts, no glory. Objection. Oh my god, they both did it! Yes! Yes! Oh my god, they both shouted it. That's amazing. Objection. Your Honour, there's obviously a huge discrepancy between these two pieces of testimony. Miss Darklaw stated that she is known as a Great Witch. However, according to Miss Kira's testimony, Miss Darklaw was... Yes! I did it! I pointed that out back in the testimony. I knew it. Oh my god. Amazing. That is correct. She was the Great Witch. Note Miss Kira's use of the past tense. Past tense? I'm afraid my grammar's not quite what it used to be. You don't know what the past tense is. Okay. Sure. Miss Darklaw was Mistress of the Shades, or as they called her, the Great Witch. Therefore, she is no longer the Great Witch. She is not the Great Witch! Witness, is this true? Ellipses. It is you've heard, my lord. Ellipses, ellipses. I relinquish my position as Great Witch in order to fulfill the objective of this task. What would the objective be again? The assassination of the storyteller. Witness, at the beginning of this trial you stated that you came to this town in order to complete your task, didn't you? What's more, you said you were going to summon the fire dragon to do it. Now this task, it wasn't Miss Darklaw here that gave it to you, was it? No, it wasn't. So then, the most pressing question is, who was it that gave you that task? Who told you to come to Labyrinthia and assassinate the storyteller? The ellipses! The ellipses made me do it! I cannot tell you, no matter what. So Darklaw isn't the Great Witch anymore. Which means the mastermind behind this entire thing is... Why does no one finish their sentences? Ugh, whatever. It would seem the defense has worked it out as well. Mr. Wright, you know who really gave Miss Kira her task tonight, do you not? Defender, I ask you to land in the court. This is also something that I actually thought earlier as well. Okay. This is a new theory that I came up with like half an hour ago, and I said, I think I got an idea, but I never actually elaborated on it. I think the storyteller told Kira to pretend to be the Great Witch, and that Espella actually is the Great Witch. And the reason that the storyteller was shocked that Espella was the one on trial was because it was supposed to be Kira that was caught, Kira that was on trial, basically like framing Kira despite Espella actually being the Great Witch. There we go, that is the new headcanon. I'm going with new headcanons like every half hour or so. So sometimes I don't necessarily go into depth about it, but yes, I do believe that it was Eve! Eve, the cat of evil! No, wait, no. Not that one. That one! That one!
Take that!
I hope. The storyteller! We're talking about someone who with the authority and power to replace the Great Witch. Someone who calls the shots. I can't think of anyone else that meets those criteria except for the storyteller himself. Preposterous! That would mean... It means that the storyteller gave this final task to Kira himself. He was, in short, responsible for his own assassination. Order, the court before purpose! Why did plan his own assassination? That I can't say, Your Honour, however. The final chapter of the story does tell of his inevitable death. While his silence has to Kira himself, it is perfectly natural that he would do so. However, what is not natural is your behaviour tonight, Miss Darklaw. There is nothing about Darklaw's behaviour, full stop. What is unnatural about the High Inquisitor's behaviour? He wants the head of all the shades, and yet tonight you tried to interfere with the storyteller's plan. You rendered Miss Kira unconscious and locked her away in the belfry of the bell tower. That to me seems like the activity of someone aiming to put a stop to his plan altogether. What would be the reason for such behaviour? I were bored. I felt like it, you know. I think that's you, Mr. Wright. Oh, to me? Based on what we've seen in this trial, the defence believes this Darklaw's reason for covering her up for actions tonight can only be attributed to one thing. I don't know. This plan was handed down by the storyteller himself, and Miss Darklaw was definitely aiming to put a wrench in it, but why? She tried to sabotage the plan, she tried to betray the storyteller, she tried to protect the storyteller. Okay, I'm leaning towards the middle one. We know that she's been a bit shady from like seeing her like earlier on in the game. Sabotage the plan. Okay, I'm gonna reject C. I'm torn between A and B. Because I remember having the distinct impression at one point that Darklaw wants to be the next storyteller, or wanted to become the storyteller. Which would mean betraying him, which would... Yeah, you know what? Betrayal. He was aiming to betray the storyteller. Betray the storyteller! I agree, Mr. Wright. The storyteller used a Great Fish Bizarre to take his own life. The instructions to carry out the plan was given to Miss Kira. However, Miss Darklaw plans to intervene and change the scenario at the very last minute. She plans to do so by changing the identity of the Great Witch from Miss Kira to Miss Cantabella. Thus brings us to our current situation. Miss Cantabella on trial for the murder of her father at the hands of Bezella. Yep, I was correct! But except I thought Espella actually was the Great Witch when she's actually not. Oh, but she actually is now. I don't know, I'm confused. Whatever. You, Miss Darklaw, seem to harbour a rather strong hatred for the storyteller, if I am not mistaken. Ha ha ha! Oh, she found something funny. A hatred, you say? Yes, I suppose you'd call it that. That's right, behold, my revenge. Did you say revenge? Miss Darklaw, will you please tell the court of your plan for revenge? Is it testimony time? Oh, cutscene. Oh, not quite cutscene. The High Inquisitor and also the Great Witch. Long have I donned those two masks, one as Labyrinthia's protector, the other its harbinger of destruction. So basically multiple personality disorder then, okay. In other words, I was merely meant to serve him. And yet, he sought to selfishly pen the ending of the story under his own terms. He did not care enough about me, or any of the townspeople, to allow us the dignity of deciding our own fate. Indeed, what we witnessed tonight... Boom! Was the cowardly act of a man looking for an easy way to end that which he could not properly finish. He cared for no one but himself, hence his sudden sham of an ending, and for that I will never forgive him. What do you mean by sham of an ending? The Great Witch Bezella is to summon a dragon of fire and end the life of the creator. She will then be put on trial and judged, thus heralding a period of peace and prosperity for all of Labyrinthia. Such is the ending written for this town and all its people. It is not only I oppose in principle, who would not wish a happy ending for their own people. However, the problem lies in Bezella's identity. Still not entirely convinced about who Bezella is. As you know, he assigned the role of the Great Witch to this girl beside me. But you're saying that was a falsehood, is that correct? I knew Bezella's true identity. It is not something I could ever forget. That is why I went to the bell tower, and it's why I took the accused there. I did it to ensure the true witch foretold the story was given the judgment she was due. Okay, so... Right, yeah, Spella pretty much is the Great Witch. The true witch, you don't mean... Spella Cantabella, alright. See, yeah, fair enough. Like I say, I've been leaning towards Spella being the Great Witch for like the last half hour or so. Sudden objection, alright. Miss Darklaw is a glaring contradiction in your statement. It's supposedly common knowledge that Bezella is capable of using all magic. However, that is far from the truth. Magic does not actually exist in this town. It was all one giant illusion created by the Shades. Therefore, the Great Witch Bezella cannot exist either. Layton looks angry. He's got his eyes are like... How could you say something so stupid? Ellipses, 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 ellipses. Seriously, the Shades have a machine that can summon a dragon. I want a machine that can summon a Durgan. Hey, you fool. Oh, it was Darklaw, okay. Defender! You really don't have a clue, do you? But wait just a minute now! Is the Defender not correct? If magic does not exist, it goes without saying that witches do not exist either! And that would include the Great Witch, would it not? That's right, we've been lied to us this whole time! dastards! Those dastards! You dastard! I don't know why, that is one of the funniest insults I've read for a long time. You dastard. Bezeller isn't real.
Objection.
No! Layton is here to put a stop to this. Mr. Wright, there is a fundamental mistake in your argument. What do you mean? I have but one simple question. What exactly is Bezeller? She's supposed to be the head of all witches. Allow me to reword the question. The Great Witch Bezeller is the root of all disaster within Labyrinthia. The Great Witch Bezeller is the Bell of Ruin? Knowing that, what specific disaster might she have been the root of? That would be the fire, the legendary fire. We hear Bezeller's name left and right since we got here, but not once has the real Bezeller shown up in person. Indeed, Miss Faye, Bezeller herself has been virtually absent from the story thus far. From the story so far! But of course, did she not claim the life of the storyteller tonight? It appears so, Your Honour. However, there is just one more thing. Consider this. Which particular story is every citizen of Labyrinthia most familiar with? That would be the legendary fire. Okay. Surely you're not serious, as the name implies it's but a mere legend. No one knows for certain if it occurred. So they say, but the reality is there are still traces of that terrible fire within the town today. The Professor's right! We've seen some of it up close and personal. At the OK Archive. You're indeed correct, Inquisitor. Littered throughout the town are burnt remnants of a fire most fierce. However, no one can say for certain what transpired back then. You see, not a soul saw what actually happened. Let me see if I have this straight. So there's the entire town full of people and no one saw what happened. Except for one particular person. There was one person who saw everything. It's good. It's a speller, isn't it? I speak, of course, of the one responsible for the fire itself, the Great Witch Bezeller. No, I'm just confused. I thought it was going to be a speller because the spellers have flashbacks to it. Okay, so it is a speller. So a speller is Bezeller. I don't know! Why are you asking me? God! I remember it, all of it. Speller, what are you saying? When I close my eyes, I can picture it so vividly. The awful sight of the flames engulfing everything they touched. The scorching heat on my skin. The smell of burning cinder all around me. The large plumes of black smoke. The warm tears streaming down my face. I remember it all. What you are recalling now is the moment the Great Witch Bezeller destroyed our town. It appears my role here is finished. As for the rest, I leave it in your capable hands, Inquisitor. As she disappears, fades to black. Darkclaw, she just functions within her. She's right. Those memories are proof that I am Bezeller. But Isabella! Mr. Wright, remember, if you will, what I said at the beginning of this trial. I came here to prove that the spell Cantabella is in reality the Great Witch Bezeller. There is still one more thing I wish to present to the court. I would now call the final witness to the stand. The final witness. A speller, Bezeller. It would appear he has arrived. He. Storyteller. Yep. That's gonna freak people out. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, I give you this trial's final witness. The Storyteller! And just like that, he appeared, the man who died not hours before. And the victim of this very trial, the Storyteller himself. The Professor sure chose one heck of a final witness. Morning's drawing closer and closer. How this trial will end is anyone's guess. And that's going to be the end for this section of Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright Attorney. Oh my god, this is never going to end! Oh my god! This is crazy. Oh, my head is just a massive mess. I'm gonna have to rewatch over these episodes because seriously. So, magic's not real. Okay, I'll go along with that. Yeah, sure. No. The Shades have definitely got this machine that can summon a giant fire Durgan, and it's got this machine that can... They basically carry around flamethrowers. Yeah, okay, right. And they've got statues of every single person in the town made of gold that they carry around with them. No, I'll go with this. Yeah, sure. I'd love to save. Thank you very much, game. Thank you very much. I would love to save. I have been Mindez. This has been Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Join me next time when we go on to Chapter 10. I thought there were only 9 chapters in this game. Clearly I was wrong. Clearly I was misinformed. Whatever. I don't know what's going on anymore. Oh, we're going to be cross-examining the storyteller. See you guys. My head.